Hi guys, welcome to Coffee Tea You and Me. This is, I don't even know what installment this is of our online version of the show that I've been doing now for nearly 20 years. I've been working with entrepreneurs, business leaders, sales professionals, and consultants of all types, helping them understand the art and science of networking. Today we're going to be talking. We have a very exciting program here for you today for a couple reasons. One, I'm excited today because today is actually my birthday. Every 7 years, I guess it comes around that Friday is actually my birthday, and usually my birthday somewhere around Memorial Day weekend, and so I get to have a 3-day celebration and hang out with my family and friends and enjoy ourselves. We're gonna have an amazing time, and so many good things are happening to me in my life. In spite of the COVID-19 thing and everything that's going on, I'm having a great time. I'm enjoying myself. There are so many different things that I feel blessed to be a participant of and have opportunities to share. I'm going to share some of the stuff with you today, some of the milestones that I've achieved since my last birthday. And I'm also going to talk to you about a wonderful topic today. Our topic today is coming from a brand new training program that I just created, and it's really about learning how to recruit people into your world, into your business, into your network, into your life that have the right kind of character that promote the culture that you want to promote and that you're all about. And it's very, very important because a lot of times companies tend to try to bring people in, or organizations try to bring people in, new people in, to fix a broken culture. And we're going to talk about what that really looks like and what that really means, and how you can go about making sure that the culture of your organization is reflective of your highest values. And then when you bring people in, they support that culture in a meaningful, powerful way. No matter what you decide the culture is going to be or should be, it's important that you stay on top of it, that you stay in front of it. And there's all kinds of tips and tricks and strategies we're going to share with you at the top of the hour. A little bit about how we're going to get there. We're going to be in for a pretty good session today, so I want to make sure that everybody knows that sort of the rules of the game. What I need all of you all to do, no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, I want to make sure you get a shout out. I want to make sure you get attention. I want to make sure people understand and recognize who you are and what you're all about. Go ahead and post in the chat your name, the city you're from, any contact information. If there's a business that you have, a link to that website, to that business. If there's a statement that you want to make about your business, sort of a quick statement, think about like this, who do you serve and how do you serve them? I do what for whom is a question you could ask. Put that in the chat, put all that in the chat, and I will give you a shout out for your business and for whoever you are as soon as I possibly can, as much as I possibly can. We'll take breaks throughout the session to make sure that everybody gets recognized. Like today, a lot of people are signing on because it's my birthday, and I promised a lot of my friends that, I'd give them a lot of recognition and a shout out. So let's make sure you do that. And we're going to hold on for a few minutes before we actually formally get started, because a lot of people are still trying to log in. And whether you're looking at this through Facebook or you're looking at through LinkedIn, I'm going to share with you the document that we're going to be working from. So this document is amazing. This is probably, I'm working on becoming a better curriculum designer. And so I'm going to need you to give me feedback about the document, how you're experiencing the training, how you're experiencing it live, and how you're experiencing the document, because that's going to help me get better and better and better. So if you would do me a favor and check your chat box, you're going to see today's training, and I'll just write it down here. Today's training. I'll make sure I post that for you. So you should be able to see that both on Facebook and on YouTube. You should be able to download it to your own systems, whether you're on the phone or you're at your home, on your home computer, on your home PC or laptop, or whatever you're using, tablet. You should be able to download that document and keep it to yourself. Now, in that document, there are tremendous links to all the research and everything that I posted, because when you talk about culture, it's tricky. It's tricky. There's a lot of information that you need to think about, a lot you need to think through, and it's very, very important. As you know, that we're on a series right now from the roundtable that we're talking about the roundtable way. And today's habits are both of them are wrapped up in to what would be habit number 5 and habit number 6 of the roundtable way. Habit number 7 has to do more with continuing education and continual learning, why you should, how you should, what are the psychology behind it, what's the sociology behind it. We're going to be talking about that next week. But this week, we're going to be getting into how do you recruit the people around you, and how do you recruit them into the culture that you want to be a part of, or how do you join even a group that's a part of the culture that you want to be a part of, and how do you use culture as that measuring stick really, really well. And why should you? We're going to answer all those questions. In fact, any questions that you do have that we don't answer, do me a favor, put them in the chat. It doesn't matter where during the communication or during the talk I'll always be checking the chat to make sure that you're with me. And so if you have any questions or anything that you want to share, definitely put that information in the chat. Definitely make sure that we have that information accessible to you. And by the way, if you happen to be watching this later on as a recording, if you happen to be checking this out as a replay of some type or whatever, and you have a question, don't feel like you can't put that question in the chat. Go ahead and put that question in the chat, and because periodically I'll get a ping from somebody who watched the show that was maybe 30 episodes ago, right? And they watched the show and they got the information in the show, looked at the show notes. They're really excited about it, and they now want to ask further questions. And it's okay. This is really, well, for me, small business advocacy is serious business. Making sure that the small, women-owned, minority-owned, disabled, transgender, any of the set-aside organizations or organizations that have been marginalized in this country, I already know they don't get enough attention. I already know they don't get enough resources. They don't have enough education, and they don't have enough support. This is an effort for me to do what I can to create that kind of support, leverage that kind of support. If you're another small business advocate out there and you want to, come on the show and you want to share some ideas and some thoughts of how companies can bounce back from this COVID-19 mess, and find ways that they will gain an advantage by being small, women-owned, minority-owned, that would be amazing. I would love to see if you guys know anybody who I should be talking to. Again, put the information in the chat or DM me directly on Facebook or YouTube, and I'll definitely make sure that we follow up and create some energy. It's amazing. Some of you are out there, and I'm loving the fact that you're supportive of the show, you're supportive of the program, and you come back week after week after week. It really means so much to me. My first shout out, look it out, check it out. It's my girl Sydney Brindley. Sydney is a powerful young lady. She does health insurance, and she's such a brilliant person. I can just tell you that from her athletic background to her gifts that she shares with us now, and her intellect involving health insurance, I put her through the paces myself. She is an amazing young lady. She's super talented, super smart, super bright. And if you want to know information about health insurance, or you need to have help with any type of information about your health insurance, Sydney's the person to give a call to. I promised her, with everything I have, I promised her that I would mentor her and bring her along, because most of you all know that I have lots of insights from the insurance industry, having participated in it for about 20 years myself. I know everything there is to know. I actually know everything there was to know. I'm sure there's new stuff that Sydney knows that even I don't know, which is a great opportunity. For those of you who ever get a chance to mentor or be a support system for a younger professional, I highly recommend it. It's really good for your soul. I'm wearing my Kent State hat today in representing my girl Sydney. Sydney's from Oklahoma. She went to Kent State with me. She also played basketball at Kent, by the way. You all need to know that. She's a sharpshooter, right? And she's super, super smart, super talented. And I thank you very much for coming on the show today. Another shout out I want to give to you, right? This is my girl, Nancy. Nancy is another supercharger. She is very, very well-heeled when it comes to all forms of communication. She can put together graphics. She can do all kinds of amazing things. If you have a conference, a seminar, a workshop, you need some help tightening things up. You need some help, just making sure that things look good and are available for people. You got to call Nancy. I love her. I love the name of her business, My Persuasive Presentations, right? So she's very, very good. She has an intuitive mind, and she's just a brilliant person. And it's somebody that I think I highly recommend that if anybody wants to play, go ahead and give Nancy a call. Go ahead and give her, Nancy, put the links to your websites and stuff like that in here too. I think you already did that. I just can't see them in what I shared here. But in any case, and I'll be giving some more shout outs as more people log on and put their information in. Definitely put your information in the chat, and we will be getting on that in just a second. We're going to take a break and come right back. Okay, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to Coach Powell's Coffee, Tea, You and Me. This is my program. I've been doing this program now for close to 20 years, just helping business leaders, entrepreneurs, sales professionals, consultants of all type try to get their act together, get their mind around the wonderful art and skill of networking. Networking is such a critical point of view. It's such a critical skill to have in your toolbox. Most people, when they go and join some organization, maybe a chamber of commerce or a lead share group or some type of so-called networking organization, like to join a chapter of some of the networking organizations out there, and I support some of the largest and strongest out there. So I'm very, very much an advocate for BNI and other networking organizations that are out there. It's so important that you learn the skill. But I think a lot of people make a lot of mistakes when it comes to networking. They think of networking as a sales opportunity, and networking is not a sales opportunity. It is a leverage making opportunity. Now, what do we mean by that? Leverage is all about creating power, creating strength, creating momentum, creating physical manifestation of your gifts in a way that can be magical for you and for other people, and to use other people to create more strength and more power and more ability. And if you really, really understand what leverage is all about, it's really not about just financing. People think our leverage is about leverage buyouts and leverage sales and trying to make sure they can get more money and create more interest and all that kind of stuff. But that's not really what leverage is all about. Leverage is about the simple strategies required to generate more energy, more power, more focus than you could ever generate by yourself, meaning you need the efforts, the abilities, the talents, the strengths, the time, the techniques from other people. You need to be able to get other people to trust you enough to allow you to leverage their time, talent, and treasure in a very meaningful, very specific, and very focused kind of way. If you can create this energy, if you understand how to create leverage, how to use trust to create leverage, of course you must create trust, then you can create the leverage. If you try to create the leverage before you create the trust, what's going to happen is people are not going to give you the resources or the support that you need to have in order to get the job done, and you're going to fail. You might get some short-term successes in, but your long-term successes are going to come up short because you're just not going to have what it takes. I'm sorry, guys. You're going to hear lots of pinging and dinging in the background in today's episode because it's my birthday and everybody's trying to reach out to me. Everybody's trying to give me a shout out, say happy birthday, whatever. And I'm going to try as best I can to ignore them, but I got to keep stuff going because I do have some people that are out there that I'm expecting to hear from, and I want to make sure I don't miss their call. So I apologize for that up front, but understand that leverage is a super game changer for all of us. For Brinley's in the audience, and I know she's out there. If you've ever had a chance to experience working on a team with highly qualified, highly talented people, then you'll understand that leverage is something that happens when things go right. It's a magical thing, right? When things go right, people are able to work better together. They're able to strengthen each other. They're able to basically lift each other up and really, really maximize their strengths while covering their weaknesses at the same time. It's an amazing setup, an amazing scenario. And so, like I said earlier, if you haven't already, go into the post and download today's training, because we're going to break it down. We're going to get into it. And if you haven't put your name and your information in the chat already, please do so, because I want to make sure I give you a shout out. I promise everybody who's logged on today, I give them a pretty good shout out. So if you have your name of your business, the websites that you might have to have us visit, and I think I'm going to try this again, Nancy. That website that you posted got cut off because there was a lot of information that you posted there. So if you could kind of repost that again with the website up at the top, that way we can get the links to people can get the links to stay in front of you and to stay with you, and hopefully they'll be able to use you. That'll be really good. And same thing for you, Sydney. If you got a link to any websites or anything that you want to share with us, that'd be really, really cool. Okay, let me see. There's more people with birthday shout outs, more birthday shout outs. Let's get to my document here. Today's document is or today's training, again, like I said earlier, is really all about understanding how to merge culture and character in such a brilliant way that you surround yourself and you recruit people around you that affirm you, that create opportunities for you, and help your organization move and leverage in such a powerful way that you just become unstoppable. There's a couple quotes I want to share with you. If you look at that top of the page of the document that I have for you, page 1, you're going to see an illustration. And the illustration has 2 quotes, one on the left, one on the right, and then it has a little bit of an illustration in the middle where you're talking about, you see that big orange ball that says culture, and then there's character all around it. I'm going to explain that in just a couple seconds. But I'm going to start you off with a quote from August Wilson. I love August Wilson. As a playwright, as a professional, he had the kind of insight that only us introverts can have. So here's what August Wilson has to say about character. When you confront the dark parts of yourself and work to banish them with illumination and forgiveness, your willingness to wrestle with your demons will cause your angels to sing. I love that quote. August is saying, if you take the time to do the insight, to do the research, to do the work, as Ayanna Vincent would say oftentimes in her show, when you take the time to do the work on yourself and learn what there is in yourself that you need to appreciate, that you need to endorse, that you need to provide to others, that you need to share with others, you're going to be able to then be the best version of yourself in social situations, in business situations, in every situation you're in, because you're going to be in touch with the best of you, as well as those things that you may need to work on to strengthen you. This is a critical aspect to culture, because we find that studies show that individuals who belong to an organization, a team, a group, or whatever, they inform the culture of the group by their sheer presence. But also the culture of the organization informs them because of its weight. And the strength that the culture has on your character and the strength that your character has on the culture is a constant give and take, a balance and act that creates change. It creates animosity sometimes, it creates strengthening sometimes. And it's very, very important that you get a hold of both who you are and what you bring to the table and what you add to whatever culture that you're going to be a part of. And you want to make sure that what you add does not cause friction in that culture, unless that friction is a desirable kind of friction where individuals are saying, yes, we want your individual uniqueness. We want your special gifts because we need to change in a direction that is reflective of the best in you. That's why I love this quote from August Wilson. This other quote from Isaac Asimov, I love it just as much because it is so super powerful. And I want you to think about this. There is a cult of ignorance in the United States, and there has always been. The strain of anti-intellectualism has been a constant thread winding its way through our political and cultural life, nurtured by the false notion that democracy means that my ignorance is just as good as your knowledge. That's simply not true. Knowledge and wisdom is true. Ignorance is not. Truth is something that I believe that we all should be seeking. And every culture that seeks to promote ignorance over knowledge is not going to work well. it's not going to work well because there's going to be people, remember the characters, right, surrounding the culture, who are looking at this culture going, wait a minute, this is not right because it's not true. And if it's not true and we're participating in it, anybody who participates in a culture, organization, group, team that doesn't represent the truth fundamentally is going to find themselves in a serious problem with people who know the truth, people who are knowledgeable, people who are intellectually accurate, right? Those people are going to have a problem dealing with a culture that peddles anything but the truth. So this is back in Asimov days, right? What are we dealing with today that is in the cultures that we tend to play with? In the broader sense of the US culture, in the micro sense of the cultures of all the organizations and things like that that we have to deal with, you know, are we dealing with the truth? Are we approaching things through knowledge and actual intellectual curiosity, or are we just going off of some base emotions that we were literally taught because of our upbringing and because of the things that we've experienced in our past? Oh yeah, we're going to get into it all today. Today is going to be a special day. It's going to be fun. And the question I have to ask for all of you who are there, and all of you who might be seeing this and in the recording later on, is your company culture the solution to this issue, or is it part of the problem? Because as you can see, culture is huge. It's a big deal. When you bring somebody into an organization and you're saying you want them to be a part of your organization, what are you really saying? Are you saying, I just want you to do this job and this job description and that's all I want you to do? Or are you saying, I want you to bring your uniqueness to the table? I want you to bring what's special about. I see something special in you, and I want you to bring that to this table so that we as a group can be better. Because as a leader, if that's what you're saying, then you're saying the right thing. But if you're saying, I want you to adopt yourself to this pre-existing culture, this pre-existing idea that may have predated you, I don't know, by 300-400 years, you're trying to get someone to become a part of what we would call a good old boys network. And that person may not fit. That person may not be a good cultural fit for that organization, and you bringing them in won't fix the culture. All it's going to do is create stress and anxiety with the person that you're trying to bring in. And you have to be very careful, because if you're not ready to embrace, I mean, fully embrace new people into whatever organizational culture or structures that you have, if you're not willing to love them, if you're not willing to respect them, if you're not willing to be kind to them, if you're not curious about who they are and what they bring to the table enough to allow them to feel safe to share their greatest gifts with you and in the group that you're a part of, you got a problem. And it can't be just one person. It has to be the culture. It has to be the whole team. I don't care how many mission statements you write. I don't care how many vision statements you write. I don't care how many times you sit down behind your desk and you come up with these great ideas and these great pros. If you are not infecting your team and the organization that you're building, or the organization that you've already built, with these ideas, with the acknowledgement that these are new ideas and we're going from where we were to where we are. It's not good enough just to put a law up. It's not good enough to say we are EEOC compliant. It's not good enough to say that, we accept all and we tolerate all and don't all lives matter. Not good enough to have a meaningful impact on a pre-existing culture. You have to convince everybody in the culture that openness is our way, that uniqueness is our way. We know that if we don't open ourselves up to new ideas and new innovation and new people, we won't survive well into the future. In fact, we will stagnate under the weight of our lack of new ideas, new perspectives, new innovation, because what we'll be doing is the same old, same old. We'll be doing the same things the same way we've always done things, and it just won't last. That's not growth. That, in fact, is death. You might not know it yet because you're still breathing, but you will know it when your organization fails, when your team fails, when your group fails, and you just don't have what it takes to rebound, to recover, and to innovate and take advantage of what it takes and what it means to be a small business. To be small is your ability to be flexible and nimble and find new strategies and new techniques is right there. But the minute you start to get large, then you got bureaucratic stuff to deal with. You got rules and stagnant ideas that people are sold on, and they want to deal with it because there's still some more meat on that bone, so to speak. Everybody's seen a company that is just stuck in the old ways because that's the way they've always done things. That's a group that can't last. That's a team that won't last unless they're willing to get in, shake some stuff up, and come out with some brand new ideas, thoughts, people. And people are, by the way, who drive those new ideas and new thoughts. So you've got to be open to new people, because without new people, this won't be any new ideas. So we're going to talk to you a little bit about Jimmy. And Jimmy's story is on page 1 of our document. But Jimmy is a fascinating case. I met Jimmy quite a while back, and without exception, he's just the same as everybody else who goes and joins these networking groups. He has his high hopes for what he's going to be able to get out of them. He's going to get, and they promised him referrals, and you're going to get referrals if you just come along and just be with us. And it's all going to, that's something mystical and magical is going to happen because you join, because you put your money down, you pass the application process, and you are here. All of a sudden, things are just going to come out of the sky for you. That's not true. That's just a step in the process. The biggest step you got to make when you join a new group is to figure out how to do meaningful things that the group is going to appreciate. And I promise you, it's not going to be your broken elevator speech that you didn't even work on, that you barely know how to talk about, and you fumble around and you make mistakes introducing yourself, and that's just not something that you're going to be able to do successfully. So long term, you're going to end up losing, and you will blame it on the organization. And you should blame it on the organization to a certain extent, because if you believe that you can just join something and people are going to be your friends because you joined it, that's not really going to work. You're going to have to do the work to create that opportunity. You're going to have to be able to share who you are, what you bring to the table, and you're going to have to be able to share your gifts in a meaningful, powerful way with other members of the group in order for the other members of the group to feel comfortable sharing theirs with you, their resources, their people, their time, their talent, their treasure. It's all about leverage, as I said before. And if you're not good at sharing who you are and what you can bring to the table, then it's going to be impossible for other people to feel comfortable sharing theirs. It's almost like if you show me yours, I'll show you mine kind of thing. But you have to be first. You have to be bold enough, bad enough, wise enough, strong enough, talented enough to be first. So Jimmy was having a problem. He recognized that he was spending a lot of time with these people in his so-called networking group, but he wasn't getting anything in return. And it cost him. Every time he spent an hour away from his desk, he was spending $600. That was costing him $600 an opportunity every time he did not do his job. He wasn't on his job doing the thing that makes him money directly. And so he ended up spending anywhere from $600 to $1,200 a week just playing around with his networking group as an opportunity cost alone. That didn't even deal with the dinners, the lunches, the meetings that everybody wanted to have coffee or whatever someplace, and the time spent away from it didn't include that cost. On top of that, it didn't include the fees associated with belonging to the network. Networking is an expensive thing, and you can't do this willy-nilly. It's expensive in terms of your time. It's expensive in terms of your resources. It's expensive, and to do it and not do it well, in my view, is heart-stoppingly stupid. But Jimmy was fed up with this group. He was on the way out. He thought, you know what? I can't do this anymore. This is costing me too much. If I keep doing this, I'm not going to be successful in my business, and that's going to cost me my ability to put my kids through college, to save for their education, to finish paying off my mortgage, to help my wife feel more safe and secure. I'm going to be a failure as a husband and as a father if I let this thing drag me down. It's already been 2 years. It's already been too much money. I've already wasted too much time. I'm done. That's where Jimmy was thinking. That's where he was. So one of the members of the membership committee asked him to call me. I wasn't even a member of the group. He asked him to call me and just talk to me about networking and networking strategy and how it all works. And I said, I'll give him a shot. I'll let him know. I'll talk to him about it. So I asked Jimmy. Jimmy didn't want to talk. Jimmy was like, you know what? I'm done with this whole thing. I don't want to talk to anybody else about it. I've made up my mind. But, if somehow you think this guy might be helpful to me, I'm open to having a short conversation with him, but I know it's not going anywhere. I've already made up my mind. And everybody thought that was good enough, fair enough. And I thought the same thing. I'm really not trying to convince you to do anything. I'm just going to tell you what the wonderful world of networking really is and help you understand how you can leverage it in a way that works best for you. So I had a meeting with Jimmy, sat down with him, and I asked him, just a quick question, one question. I said, listen, Jimmy, tell me, are you doing all that you can do to work with this organization? And he looked at me like, like I had 3 hits, like, what's wrong with you? Of course I'm doing everything. I come to the meetings. I do my presentation every week. I've been in the keynote presentation. I've done all the things I'm supposed to do. I've joined every committee I'm supposed to join. I'm doing it. I'm doing the most. I am the stellar member. Everybody loves me, but just not giving me any business. I said, so they're not buying from you. Like, right. They're not buying from you, and they're not referring me to anybody. They're like, okay. So I see he didn't really get where I was coming from. I see he didn't get that I wasn't asking him, was he going through the motions? I was asking him if he was truly engaged and what that looked like. And obviously he wasn't. And so I had to explain to him. I had to ask him a deeper question. So I did that. I said, okay, listen, here's what I'm asking you. Are you setting up scenarios where people that you invite to the group feel like this is the warmest, friendliest opportunity, so much so that they fall in love with you and are willing to work with you? And he goes, what do you mean? How's that going to work? So how it's going to work is this. You're going to invite the biggest kingpins in your industry. You're going to invite people that you have time, you have trouble even getting in front of yourself. You're going to invite your prospects that you could meet in any other way to this meeting. And when you do that, you're going to find that people love to be invited. People love to be invited to a party where it's no skin off their back. You're not trying to convince them into joining anything. You're not trying to do anything except extend the hand of friendship and the opportunity to meet your other professional friends. That is all. And if if it's a dinner meeting or a lunch meeting or whatever that is, there's going to be food involved. Maybe you pay for their food. Maybe it's discounted for them. It doesn't matter. You're going to invite them into a space where they're going to get a chance to meet other professionals, and you're going to personally introduce them to people who they would like to meet. He said, I haven't tried that. I said, go give it a shot and see what happens. Just give it 2 weeks. And if it doesn't work, I promise you, no skin off my back. I won't bug you anymore about it. I won't talk to you anymore about it. He did it. And in a couple months, he had amassed so much in referrals and so much time and effort and energy in prospecting that it was crazy. It was crazy amounts of success for him. He thought, all I did was invite people to this party. All I did was invite people to meet my professional friends. And I got so consistent at it that the group depended on me for it. And as a result, they started to respect me so much more, and they felt guilty for not having helped me. So they started helping me invite more people in my industry and more people that I would want to meet, because they realized I was doing that, and they got a chance to meet them too. They got a chance to meet the directors, the founders, the kingpins of associations and organizations in a way that they could have never done so with traditional marketing. It could have never happened without the ability to reach out and to invite people into an environment where they felt friendly, where they felt warm, where they felt opportunity, and they felt like they can belong to this if they wanted to. It didn't matter if there was a seat open or not. It didn't matter if anything. And then they fell in love with Jimmy. And that is the point. If you are a great networker, you learn to leverage others in such a way that you create a tremendous amount of energy that comes right back to you. Now, everybody on the organization was in love with Jimmy. Everybody really started to follow through with holding up their end of the bargain. They saw a different Jimmy. Jimmy wasn't the guy that just showed up to the meeting every week trying to sell them his construction projects or things that he wanted to do, and on them making new construction, they weren't even in that business. So Jimmy decided he would make his own business by bringing the people that he really wanted to get in front of anyway to the team. Now, what's magical about the Roundtable is we've created a program called the RAP approach. The RAP approach is a program that allows every member who has benefited from the time, talent, and treasure of another member to stand up in the meeting, to pipe up in the meeting and give that person a glowing testimonial that says, this person did this for me. This person is amazing. I am so glad to have an opportunity to know this person. If you get a chance to work with this person, good for you. Go for it. You can trust them. We believe in them. And I think that's a person that I'm going to want to support for the rest of my life. That kind of commitment, that kind of endorsement, that kind of recommendation goes so much further than anyone could or should ever say about themselves. It is really about showing up for someone else. When I wrote the RAP approach, which I recently tweaked and re-released on LinkedIn, so if you can go on my LinkedIn profile and get it if you're interested in it. Or I might even post it in the show before if I get any more people. And by the way, if anybody signed on and I didn't give you a shout out and you hadn't posted your information in the chat, do me a favor and do so. So I want to make sure I recognize all of you to the best of my ability. And Nancy put a couple of websites in she wants us to visit. This one's about counseling and meditation, which is great. And she gave me another one that's about her business and straight up. That's good. That's good. That's good. And if anybody has anything you want to share, anything you want to allow me to help you promote or endorse, I'll be more than happy to do so. That's what the RAP approach is all about. The RAP approach is an acronym. It stands for respect, affection, and praise. There's a reason why it's not appreciation and praise. All three of those words are super powerful and super meaningful to show someone the respect of and the thank you and the gratitude for just them, their presence, and what they offer or what they brought to the table is a tremendous gift. All right, but to let them know what it means to you to have received this gift is so much more powerful than just saying thank you. Darren does a presentation every Thanksgiving, and he uses the word domo arigato. And domo arigato translated, it really means it couldn't have been without you. I couldn't have done it without you. It doesn't just mean thank you. It means it couldn't have happened without you. I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have benefited. I would be less than without you. This is what leverage is all about. And so if you're truly grateful for somebody, it's not just appreciation. It's affection that you're sharing with them. When you present your ideas to them, back to them of what they were able to do for you, it means something to you. There's feeling associated with it. There's emotion associated with it. And if you share that emotion transfers to them and to other people. And they know they've done something meaningful. They know they've done something relevant and significant, right? But other people already also know it too, that they've done something that was meaningful, relevant, and significant to you. How special is that? And so we wrote the RAP approach to help organizations and cultures begin to recognize that you're going to have to do something meaningful for each individual that belongs to the team that is contributing something meaningful. And you're going to have to give them their flowers where they live. You're going to have to make sure that you show them the respect and the affection and praise that you have for them and not taint it. You know, a lot of people, a lot of times when they say thank you, in an organization, they're going to thank everybody. It doesn't mean anything if it's not meaningful and specific to one person. If you're going to thank everybody, that's fine. Thank them all once and spread it out over a few weeks. That'll be great. But give the person the opportunity to really take in what you're saying about how you respect them, how you feel about them, what they mean to you. When you do that, you create more opportunities to win, and everybody else is deeply appreciative of that, and they're able to extend the trust to someone else. And that's what that's all about. Because when someone else hears how wonderful you have performed for someone else, now I want you to imagine you got a room full of your prospects that you invited to the table, and they hear other people saying how wonderful you are. It becomes very difficult for them not to suspend their disbelief when it comes to you and what you have to bring to the table. So there's a couple key words that I want you to study and think about when it comes to all of this stuff. And I want you to take a look at it. We're not gonna go deep into all those words. We're only gonna hit a few of them. But those key words: benefit trajectory, social awareness, primal empathy, empathetic accuracy, social cognition, social facility, synchrony, social intelligence, and social responsibility. These words are so powerful, and it really will help you if you take a deep dive into those words. It will help you understand a lot of what you need to do to help empower the cultures that you belong to and help to change them in a more powerful, open way. If you're thinking about diversity, equity, inclusion, you really got to understand this stuff, because it's very important. I'm going to break down a couple of them to you, just the ones that I think that might be more difficult, more challenging. Benefit trajectory. What that means is funny, because I was just talking to Sydney, my young protege, about this. Every benefit that you think about has a trajectory. It means if you receive the benefits, there's going to be changes that are imminent in that situation. Like, I can receive the benefit. I can buy a health insurance policy, and the benefits of that health insurance policy may be something to the effect that I get to choose my own doctor, and I don't have to worry about, staying in network, out of network, or whatever that is. I get to choose my own doctors, my own specialists, my own persons to help me with anything involving my medical stuff. In fact, it even extends to stuff like massage therapists or personal development, not personal development, but training coaches that might help me with something related to an injury or something like that, or something I need to strengthen in order to avoid, surgery, chiropractic, or other things that I might be able to do. And if my insurance extends those kinds of benefits, and in fact they teach me how to access those benefits with a wonderful app and some websites and some consultation and so on and so forth, that's some very valuable insurance. And I can see myself feeling comfortable if I own something like that. I can see myself feeling like, you know what, my life is going to get to be extended, and I'm going to be healthy and whole because I have the right programs and I have the right processes in my life that can add to not just my life, not just my longevity, but the quality of my life. That's the benefit of a great health insurance program, is it can add to the quality of your life and not devastate me financially if the worst things happen to me. You see? So, I was telling Sydney earlier about this. If you have a product or service that doesn't really solve a serious problem, then you can't tell a story that people are going to be emotionally connected to, which means it's going to be very difficult for you to drive trust in what you do and what you offer. And this is critical, of critical importance, because when you drive trust, specifically to people who can support your business, people who can support you Maybe they fund you, give you extra financing. Maybe they promote you. Maybe they become part of your advisory council. Maybe they will spend some of their time telling you about their industry, so it'll make it easier for you to talk to other people in the industry. Maybe they'll do that. Maybe they'll mentor you. Maybe they'll be a shoulder for you to cry on. Who knows? But if you can't tell your story, if you can't help them understand the benefits that you bring to the table and the trajectory of those benefits, not the products and services that you offer, but the benefits of the products and services that you offer at the highest level. If you can't explain that, if you can't talk to that, if you can't live that and think about that, it's going to be very difficult for you to win the kind of support that you need to win. But as soon as you can begin to share the true benefits of what you offer and the true benefits of what you bring to the table, and you start being good at delivering that message through story, again, which is easy to remember and easy to transfer person to person to person. When you're able to do that really well, all of a sudden your stories can go viral. People can tell your story without you. People can move forward and create your brand when you're not even in the room. And you don't need to be there. You don't need to sell it. You don't need to be there because that brand is already being transferred person to person, heart to heart. But you have to be really good at telling that story. You have to be good at telling the story and starting with the benefits and letting people know what happens, when you do what you do. In my case, the story I told you earlier about Jimmy, I was able to quickly educate him on just one technique of several that you need to have in order to be a masterful networker. And that one technique is about inviting. It's about recruiting. It's about making sure that you're bringing the right people to the table and being able to help them get exposure to your talents and gifts in the most meaningful, powerful way possible. If you do that, they're going to fall in love with you. They're not just going to want to do business with you. They're going to keep doing business with you. They're going to like doing business with you. They're going to enjoy who you are as a person. They're going to enjoy your character, and you'll enjoy theirs at a much higher level than if you reduce everything you do to a transaction, because you need more. I say go higher on the food chain instead of going deeper in terms of I say quality over quantity, right? It's that way. It has to be that way because that's the sustainable way. Now, it doesn't mean if you don't sell your low-end products or processes to people, who can get to that level or can afford that somewhere or will afford them somewhere. I'm not saying don't do that, but I am saying when you're using networking, you want to get to the biggest possible products and services that you have to offer. You want to get to the biggest levels of support that you can get, and that's what you use networking for. Because you can't do that through marketing. There's no other there's no marketing that's going to work. You have to invite them to something special that they feel comfortable in, and then they have to be warm, and it has to be warm and friendly environment, and it has to be something that they can get into and really enjoy. So we talked about benefit trajectory. Another thing I want to talk to you about is synchrony and social facility. Synchrony is a critical aspect to working with anybody. You cannot get in sync with someone else's literal mental, emotional, and biorhythms if you are stuck in your own fear, your own anxiety, your own shame or doubt, hesitation. You just simply cannot, because what you will experience, what you're experiencing inside, will transmit to them, and they will feel anxiety and stress. That synchrony works like that. Like I used to say this all the time, and I still believe it, that we are all wirelessly connected to each other. If I was giving you this presentation and you couldn't see my face, it would be so much different. And the impact would be so much different. If I wasn't presenting this in a way that shared how I feel about how confident I am in these ideas that I'm sharing with you, then you would read it somehow with doubt and hesitation. And instead of transmitting confidence, I would be transmitting incompetence. That's how it would read. And it's very, very important that you don't do that. So you have to understand synchrony and how it works. You're going to sync up with people as you communicate with them. That's going to happen. And there's nothing you can do about it except understand it. And then do everything you can to bring the highest level of authenticity and greatest gifts that you can to yourself as you're presenting who you are and what you're all about. And you're sharing yourself with other people because you wanted them to sync up with the best in you. Not the stuff that causes you pain and anxiety and stress and blah, blah, blah. You don't want them to sync up with that. You want them to sync up with the best of you, and the best of them, you want to sync up with them. And that's how that's going to happen. It's going to be a mutual transference of feeling and emotional, and it's going to create a higher level of moment. It's leveraging the moment through developing that, through getting in sync with someone else. It's very, very important. The last thing I want to mention to you is social facility. Social facility is your ability to create and change and transfer a social situation into what you want it to be. It's a talent, it's a skill, it's a gift. You can learn it, you can get good at it, but you have to pay attention to yourself, how others are receiving you. You have to pay attention to others, how others are receiving them. You have to pay attention to what works and what doesn't work. You know, you can mess up an entire opportunity to work with somebody by greeting them incorrectly. Saying just the wrong word in the wrong way could throw off an entire relationship, could throw off the potential for a relationship to even grow before it even gets started. And so you have to understand social facility. You have to know what it takes to help people create what they need to create. This is what culture is all about. It's a participatory thing. If you belong to a culture that you're not actively engaged in, then you're not getting anything from the culture. The culture's not getting anything from you. But if you're actively engaged, you're going to find that you learn the art that we're talking about here. We learn the science of what we're talking about here. And there's all kinds of links and deep and stuff that I suggest you get into when you look at this information that I'm presenting to you, because it's going to help you in a big way. Okay, so let's bring it down. When we talk about culture, when we talk about living the culture of your organization, what are we saying? In the roundtable, we're talking about understanding that networking is the art and the science of leveraging your personal and your business relationships to create win-win opportunities. The golden word here is win-win opportunities. The culture that we're trying to create, that we've created, that we maintain in our roundtable, is that everybody experiences win-win opportunities. That's a part of our culture. And they do it through the promotion of our highest values. Our highest values are around communication, collaboration, and encouragement. Communication, collaboration, and encouragement. Those are our highest values. Those are the things that we practice. Those are the things that we put in action every single meeting, every single person, every single time. And so that what happens in the outset is win-win opportunities. That's what happens. So if you put the right things in, then you get the right things out. And we've broken it down to a science. We invite the right people to play. We make sure that we're selective in who we invite into this thing of ours, this Cosa Nostra that we got, this organization of ours. We don't just invite anybody. We invite the kinds of people who fit into the culture. So if you don't care about communicating effectively, if you don't care about collaborating with others, if you don't care about really, really encouraging others, then we don't want you on the team. We're not going to invite you. You can come and play, but you can't be one of us. You know, we'll invite anybody to the party. Everybody deserves to be an invitation to the party. However, everybody does not get invited into the inner circle. Everybody does not get to hang around to the after party, you know, where the real fun is going on, right? So just think about that. It takes social awareness. It takes, like I said earlier, primal empathy. You have to be empathic and accurate in what you're thinking other people might be feeling. Right? You have to understand that. You have to have a level of social cognition. You have to be able to manipulate and maneuver the situation. This is all the work that was done by Danny Goleman when he started to write about emotional intelligence. And And the more I read it, the more I understand it, the more it becomes a part of who I am and how I communicate. And it's so important that you understand that if you don't get this, social facility thing right, this social intelligence thing right, it's going to be very difficult for you to accurately network. You have to pay attention, and you have to have attention paid to you. And I say those words just that way because it means something. Because that's what we do. That's the biggest gift we can give to one another is to pay attention to one another, to attend to each other, to care for one another, to actually come outside of ourselves and see what we can do to help someone else. It means we have to listen to them, we have to empathize with them, we have to understand them, and then we have to give them what they need to feel supported. That is a skill. Everybody can't do it because some people are just at such a deficit themselves, they have nothing to give. Or some people have a lot to give, but they're so poor and inadequate at making the actual transaction or the gift happen. They don't know how to pour into someone else. That's a social intelligence. If you either have it and you develop it, or you don't have it and you stay ignorant. And you can't move culture. You can't change culture without social intelligence, right? You have to have people who have a high SQ. I like that thought process. You also, when it comes to culture, have to understand how the culture works. You have to be able to master and be able to help infect and control the culture in a meaningful way. I've got like 100 birthday greetings just since we've been sitting down talking about this stuff. It's crazy. Anyway, happy birthday to me. So networking mastery is something that we all have to embrace if we're going to get anything involved with culture. And I have a belief. And I have a belief that I think it's really, really important to share here. Everybody brings something unique to the table. Everybody you meet, everybody you know, everybody you come in contact with has something special. I believe everybody has something special for me. And so my job when I meet new people, when I engage with new people, is really try to find out what is it that I'm here. What is it that they're here to show me? What is it that they're here to teach me? How is it? What can I learn? What can I understand? What can I know? What can I get? What level of wisdom can I attain as a result of truly embracing and engaging with this person? That's going to make me listen. It's going to make me listen harder. It's going to make me listen for opportunity to participate, to contribute to their lives. Now, I can't control what they do in return. I can't. And so, therefore, I have to discern who is the right person to engage with and who are the right people to truly pour into, to create into a contribution to. Now, trying to contribute to somebody who doesn't want what you have to contribute is very difficult to do. Right? That's stressful. That's hard. I don't want to do that work. But I want to find the people who I can appreciate and who I know can appreciate what I bring to the table, so that when I bring what I bring to the table, they're going to receive it in a way of that's going to be respectful, that's going to be appreciated, that's going to help me feel like I'm valued, like I've done something significant, relevant, right? It's critically important because that's a part of my identity. It's a part of how I see myself as a contributor in the world, a contributor, that's the word I'm looking for. And so if you can't do that, if you don't bring anything to the table, if no one else is bringing anything to the table, it's very difficult for that engagement to happen, for those win-win scenarios to be concluded or brought to bear. And it's just super important. I can't say enough how important it is. But without that, without developing that trust and that safety with people, you're never going to be able to leverage. You're never going to be able to get a committed pool of talented people to give you their time, their talent, and their treasure, unless you're willing to do the same thing for them. First, every time somebody asks you what you do, what they're really asking you is, should I trust you? And what you say out of your mouth and what you do as a result of what you say out of your mouth is going to be the testament, not just of what you offer, but who you are. So you can't answer that question, what you do, with a title, a name, a role, a function that you play. They're really asking you, who do you help and how do you help them? What are the benefits that you offer? Why should I introduce you to anybody that I know who might need or want to receive those benefits? That's the real question you have to answer when somebody asks you. Another thing you have to know about leveraging your network is this. We almost always, I'm going to say almost because I can't account for 100% of the time, right? But most of the time, we has a greater potential than I ever would or should. And so I want you to question yourself. Anytime you're out there doing something, you think you're going to do something, and you're doing it by yourself, and you're not, somebody's not coming with you. Somebody's not coming with you to help you with accountability. Someone's not coming with you to help support you or strengthen you. Somebody's not coming with you in this venture or this idea or this concept. And you're doing it all by yourself. It's not sustainable. It's not something that you're going to be able to do for very long. You might be able to get away with it a couple of times, but that becomes your habit of doing everything by yourself, doing everything in isolation, doing everything without the benefit of anyone else's counsel or resources or time or talent. I got a feeling that you're participating in your own demise. It's impossible to long term be in that situation. There is no such thing as the rugged individual. Yes, we are strong. People are flexible. People are reliable and committed, and they're gifted and they're talented. But nobody is all powerful, and nobody's more powerful. No individual is more powerful than the we. So make sure that whatever you do, you start to think about it's a we thing. Who could you do it with? Who could do it with you? Who can strengthen you? Who can support you? Who could you support? How can you collaborate better? How can you encourage one another? How can you communicate more effectively to leverage and create those opportunities? And the last one I'll talk to you about is a win-win. George Bernard Shaw says, I am of the opinion that my life belongs to the whole community. And as long as I live, it is my privilege to do for it whatever I can. I'm going to read that again. I want to make sure I'm looking right in the camera when I'm doing it. Shaw says that I am of the opinion that my life belongs to the whole community, and as long as I live, it is my privilege to do for it whatever I can. I love that quote. That's a great quote. When it comes to understanding what win-win is all about, that is what win-win is all about. It's about contribution, right? It's about doing and making meaningful contributions to others and empowering them to return the favor, if not for you, for someone else. But the better you gain in making meaningful, significant contributions to the right people, the more you empower the right people to do the same for you or someone else. And you start to create a culture around you of win-win, because everybody wants to contribute. Everybody wants to say, do, be something meaningful, significant, and relevant. And you can do it if you focus on that, not what you're losing or what someone's taking from you, but focus on what you're contributing. Focus on how you're adding to the culture, to the team, to the community, to the belief system. The more you do that, then the more you're going to feel like you're in this thing with other people and you're not alone. This is very, very important. If people feel like you see them as a transaction or some other type of means that's self-serving, in the end, they're going to withdraw their support from you, or they won't support you at all. And so you have to be very careful of, understanding the difference between selling and networking. Networking is about leveraging. Sales is about transaction. Now, networking can lead to sales, But sales doesn't usually lead to networking. Because once somebody's done a transaction, I know I'm this way. If I buy something from you, I'm kind of done with you. Because either I'm happy with the product or I'm unhappy with the product. But I gave you money. And so therefore I made a transaction that on your side and on my side should be considered we're good. I'm an introvert. I don't have anything else to do. There's no transaction that has ever got me excited enough to go, ooh, I want to invite you over to dinner. Nope. It was just a transaction. I was looking for the transaction, looking for the opportunity, looking for the business. I got the business. I won the business. I did the business. We're good. You got your money. I got my, you got your whatever you got. I got the product. You got the product or service. I got the money. We're good. Meaningful transaction. That's what happened. But now, some people want to believe that a transaction is some type of friendship. If that was the case, then just imagine you're a person who sells makeup, right? And of course, you have your major product, right? The whole makeup kit could be worth thousands of dollars. That's a meaningful transaction to you. You might want to be friends with people who buy that. But a person who comes around every couple of months and buys a lipstick, that's probably not as meaningful a transaction. There's probably not much there for you. And I know what you're saying. I treat everybody the same. I give good service to everybody. I'm not saying that. I'm saying be careful who you extend the hand of friendship to and how you make emotional connections with the transaction. Because if the transaction preceded the emotional connection, then the connection is built on the transaction. If the emotion or the feeling preceded the transaction, then you got that transaction from somebody who actually cares about, loves you, participates, enjoys you, appreciates you. And then you're going to do more for them. You're going to do better for them. You should do better for them than you do for someone who is just a transaction. I just think that that's human beings, and that's how we work. We work with people we know, like, and trust better than we work with people who we don't. And so building trust takes a lot more effort than creating a transaction. You think you're done with somebody because you got a transaction, they bought something from you? No. You still don't have a friend yet. You have a transaction, right? So you got to do more to build the kind of friends and associates and what people are going to be willing to give of themselves and participate meaningfully in your life. It's got to be more than a transaction. When you're recruiting new team members, you need to remember the words of Oscar Wilde and the words of Shel Silverstein. Wilde says nothing annoys people so much as not receiving invitations. We already talked about this. If you have something special that you're inviting someone into, be careful, because there's people who think they believe that they deserve that invitation and they should be invited, even though everybody's not ready to receive the invitation. But it's annoying when a person is ready to be invited. They know they need to be invited. They want to be invited, but they don't get the invitation. They see other people around them getting that invitation. And so if you got something special, make sure you invite everybody who thinks they're ready for it to be invited. Because they didn't say they can't say they didn't get invited. So try to be open and try to do things that are available to other people and invite them. Don't even discriminate. Just open the door and invite them. Shel Silverstein says, if you're a dreamer, come on in. If you're a dreamer, a wisher, a liar, a hoper, a prayer, a magic bean buyer, if you are a pretender, come sit by my fire. For we have some flax golden tales to spin. Come in, come in. That thought process, that everybody is welcome, is the thought process that's going to help you gather more people around you, more people to pay attention to, more people to pay attention to you, more people for you to be able to then sort into one of a few buckets. For me, either you're going to be in my inner circle, or you're going to be in my tertiary or secondary circle, or you're going to be in my tertiary circle. I have circles of friends. My inner circle, these are the people that I want to develop a huge amount of trust with. I want them to trust me, and I want to be able to trust them. I'm going to put some work into those relationships that's much deeper than a transaction would ever go. Right? The secondary circle, these are the people that I may have a transaction with. Either I bought something from them, they bought something from me. They're not making my friends. It just means they're a transaction. They're in my circle, but they're not in my inner circle. People in my tertiary circle, people, I know them, they know me. There's been no transaction of any type. And I don't mean just a financial transaction. No transaction. There's been no transfer of care, of love, or whatever. There's just been, I'm aware of you and you are aware of me. These people are on my outer circle. The people who are who beyond that, I don't know them. I don't know them. They don't know me. We don't know each other. There's nothing. There's no contact. There's no context by which we can involve ourselves with each other. We don't exist to each other. So it's very, very important when you're talking to people and you're trying to relate to people. By the way, I know some people are joining. If you have a chance to put your information in the chat, please do so. Any information about your business, any information about, contacting you, I'll definitely give you a shout out and let everybody know. Put your stuff up on the screen, just like this one. Bye, look at that. I'm getting good at this. I'm getting good at this. So make sure you do that. But let's talk a little bit about recruiting. And we're on page 7 of our document. If you haven't had a chance to download it, go ahead and do that. There are people that you want to bring into your world. And you may know specifically how or what, but generally, if you've just done some research or whatever, you don't know a whole lot about them. You just know they might be somebody that you want to invite into your inner circles. They deserve an invitation to the party. Whatever party you got, they deserve an invitation. Do what you can to make sure that people who you think might qualify to be a person on your inner circle at some point, or a person to be in transaction with you, get an invitation to what you're doing. They need to know you. You need to know them. And so the only way to do that is to be together, is to exist together, to share ideas and opportunities, get them to the table so you can find out who they are. Now, you have to recruit potential candidates that make sense for you and make sense for your team. But you don't know who they are until you engage with them. You start to figure that out. And so you need to make sure that you're doing that. You're creating opportunities to create that engagement. Because if not, then there's people out there who you suspect. They're suspects. They're not prospects quite yet. Let's go with the definition of prospects that works always versus suspect. A prospect is someone who needs what you have, who wants what you have, and will afford what you have. Until they can answer those 3 questions, for sure, you can answer those questions and you're clear about that. They're just a suspect because you don't know enough information to make them a prospect. But once they are a prospect, you can begin the process of closing that deal. But until you know they're a prospect, you cannot make any offer of any type. Now, here's the thing. I told you before, everybody brings something special to the table. There's a reason why you're meeting them, right? And your job is to figure out what that is. But once you figure that is, you got to close it. So you have to figure out, do they want to share it with you? Do they need to? What will be the benefits for them if they did? And what would that transaction look like? You got to have answers to all those questions before you make the offer. If you make the offer, even if you're making the offer, they're going to spend time with you, or they're going to spend some money with you, or they're going to give you some of their gifts, their talents. All of that is a transaction, right? Even if it's not a financial transaction, it's an emotional transaction. It's a social transaction. It's a gift of a resource that they have. Maybe they want to introduce you to somebody that you need to meet. It's a transaction. So just make sure that you understand that when you're recruiting people that you have needs for, that you know you have needs for, their gifts, their talents, whatever that is, that's a transaction as well. So you have to make sure that they're ready for even to be recruited. Because then they're a prospect for a recruit. If not, a suspect. And what you do for a suspect, it's probably suspect, when you think about that. So be sure to give it your all, give it your best, do what you can to make sure that you are representing yourself, your brand, your ideas, your concepts respectfully in a way that people can go, aha, not only do we get it, we like it. We like it and we want more of it. Because it's, yeah, I agree with you, Nancy. Nancy says this about the holistic healing community. And when it comes to transaction versus relationship, people do blur that all the time. And it can make you crazy because you can start to forget what you're doing. What are you doing? what is this all about? And for a person like me, who I need to have like well-defined parameters in almost everything I do, or I feel uncomfortable. When that doesn't happen, I'm like, ooh, it's just nebulous. It's up in the air. It's kind of like, ooh, we don't know what this is. Is this a relationship? Is this a transaction? What's going on here? And I would tell you that in any relationship, at some point, somebody needs to ask that question. What is this? What is that thing? And then somebody else has to be willing to answer that question. Now, I can tell you what it is, because no commitment can really exist without that question to be answered at some point in time. Somebody's got to answer the question, somebody ask the question and answer the question, or your relationship would just be nebulous. It'd just be undefined in forever, right? You don't want that. You want to know what you can count on with people, right? You want to know who you can count on, how you can count on them. If not, then your relationship is kind of like you figuring it out as you come along. And that's really no way to get it done. You want to get it done fast, you got to be upfront, honest. This is what I want. This is what I need. This is what I'm going to bring to the table. You want it, you need it, you like it, you're in it, let's go. Make the commitment. And then you can move from there. But as long as everybody's afraid to bring whatever they bring to the table, they can't explain it, they can't talk about it, they can't secure it, they're not really interested in it. All of that is a recipe for disaster and untruth, and the lack of knowing really is might be a better word. And so why come this document is not coming up? Did I? Let me try to download it one more time. See what's going on here. I got to get every page now. Okay, I got it. It's all there. Okay. So where was I? We were talking about we did Jimmy's story already. We did social intelligence. We talked about that. We talked about win-win. Recruiting new team members. That's where we were. So if you look in the document here, I got a couple links here for you. If one will teach you, all about recruiting, what recruiting is all about, and but the other one will teach you the 3 keys of leadership, and that's again the value system that we work with in the roundtable. How do you access that? How you deal with that? And there's a link there that will help you how you turn values into action. How you turn your values into things that you can then go, okay, because I believe in this, I'm going to be doing this consistently, and I'm going to be sharing this consistently with people. So therefore, they know what I'm all about. They know what I'm doing. They know why I'm doing what I'm doing. And everybody can say, okay, this is a person that's just driven by principle, not by anything else. Because this is a person has a purpose. They have a mission. They have an idea of who they want to be and how they want to be in this universe, and they can tell you what it is. And so you can trust them a lot faster than somebody who's like, I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm trying it out. I'm trying to figure it out. Can you give me some ideas? No, I can't give you any ideas. If you don't know who you are, you can't tell me who you are, what you bring to the table, what you can do. I don't have time to figure it out. I'm moving on to people who are already there. That's why it's important. You don't bring people into your inner circle who are not ready to be in your inner circle, because they don't even know what they bring to the table. They don't know who they are. They don't know what they can offer. They've made no offers because they don't know what they can offer. They're not ready yet. They're not either mature enough emotionally, whatever, in whatever aspect of maturity that you need to be. They're not ready to make the kind of commitment needed to really be there for you in your future. And you can't make a commitment to somebody who's not ready to accept the kind of commitments you have to offer. And so you have to be, again, real discerning. Do we have a transaction, or do we have a relationship? Are they in the inner circle, or are they in the secondary circle, or are they in the tertiary circle? And you're going to behave differently for everybody, no matter who they are and how close you want them to be to you. And it's going to matter how much time, how much focus, how much attention, how much resources you're able to share with those people, the closer they are to you. Hope that makes sense for you guys. So when you're recruiting people, you need to know their aspects of leadership. Each person on the teams, like I said earlier, needs to be open and interested in the ideas and the lives of other people on the team. If you find that people aren't interested in each other and they aren't part of a team, then that team is not going to last, because everybody's going to go start finding people they are interested in, and that's going to take away from the glue that drives the team. They're not interested in each other. They're not interested in talking to each other, sharing with each other, being with each other outside of the game or the activity that they're participating in. Then they got just a transactional relationship that's not worthy of anything more than a transaction. Hopefully I'm going to beat that up until you guys get that, until you holler, right? Until you go, I can't take it anymore. Don't say it anymore, because you need to understand that people are simple in their ideas and their concepts. They look for the simplest and easiest thing to hang on to, and then they claim that it's all great. They don't go deep. They stay surface. And if you really want something real with somebody, you got to force a level of authenticity that would not naturally happen without a depth of understanding. I hope I said that right. Now, sometimes you're going to let the wrong people in. It's going to happen. They're going to sneak in. Some of you have already got people in your inner circle that don't deserve to be there. They're not going to be there for you in your future. They probably haven't been there for you in your past, but they're still hanging out with you and they still spend a lot of time with you. You have got to move them out of the way. They are clogging your energy and your opportunity to grow, because you're hanging on to this dead weight. You're hanging on to somebody who's sucking nutrients that can't grow, from your space and your time, and they can't elevate you. You can't elevate them. You're stuck in a holding pattern. There's no growth. You need new people. So in order to embrace something new, you got to get rid of something old. I love putting somebody up on the shelf. I put them up on the shelf and I go, okay, you're getting ready to be canceled. I can't cancel you right now because I need to replace you first. But as soon as I'm going to put you on the shelf, not paying attention to you anymore. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to reach up I'm going back to my transaction bench, right? I'm going to the bench. I'm going to say, who can I warm up over here who might be ready for a deeper quality relationship? I know them. You know me. Let me see. Let me put them on a suspect pool, put them in a prospect pool. There's something they need, something they want, something I can deliver to them, something that I can do to make them special, make them feel special, make them feel safe, vice versa. If it's something I need, it's something I want, something I could use that they have, I'm going to do that examination. I'm going to have that conversation. And we're going to go, okay, we're going to come up with a win-win scenario. And then I'm going to bring them in the inner circle. And then I'm going to let go of that knucklehead who was spending my time, wasting my time. I was wasting theirs too, by the way. So letting them go was not necessarily, creating a bad situation for them. It's actually empowering them to seek somebody that they can connect with and drive and create opportunities for them in their lives. There's a couple exercises I want to go through you with, and I'm going to be done today. How you present yourself, how you show up, how you talk about yourself, how you talk about your gifts, your talents, what you bring to the table is critically important. I suggest you follow the 5-element method that we created, because we know over time we know it works. There's no question about it. So it's just 5 elements. If you remember those 5 elements, you can always present yourself, your ideas, and your concepts in a way that's magical for other people. They will remember it, they will share it with other people, and your message can go viral. Number 2, you need to write out a vision for who you want to be, what you want to have, what you want to experience as a result of whatever changes you have to make. Because if you don't have a vision for what that's going to look like when it's all said and done, something to shoot for, a direction to move in, it's going to be very difficult to convince yourself and other people to go along with it. You need to have that good vision, and you need to follow the skill sets. So the 9 steps to mastery is a great toolkit for you to know, okay, if I meet somebody new that I'm thinking about engaging in a powerful relationship with and moving forward, what are the steps I need to take? Step 1, step 2, step 3, all the way up to step 9, sequentially in that order. You cannot skip one single step in the 9-step process. If you skip a step and things start to go wonky and go right back, you need to go back to the previous step, redo that step all over again. Make sure you're good, and then you take the next step. Because what you don't want to do is mess up a great opportunity for a magical relationship to happen with a sponsor, a funder, a person that could be on your advisory council, a person that might endorse you at a very, very high level in a group that you really want to be involved in, or whatever that is. You don't want to mess that up by trying to skip steps. trying to run the gauntlet. You can't do it. Take it one step at a time. Number 3, I love this exercise. This is my favorite exercise. Make a list of the top 10 people that you should add to your network, that you should have in your network. In fact, I was just talking to Sydney about this recently, and it's important in what she does that she has, like the National Association of Travel Nurses need to fall in love with her. They need to fall in love with what she offers, what she brings to the table. And when they do, then she can be the endorsed person for that entire association. And she can be endorsed for her highest level of product and services that she offers, which is going to be golden for her career. If she can start off with a national connection to a national association like that, then all she has to do is continue to show up, continue to be great, continue to be there for them, and that buzz is gonna get around amongst the whole association. Oh my God, are you working with her? Oh my God, she's amazing. Oh, she's so talented, she's so special, she's so wonderful. I wonder if we could convince her to be a nurse. That's what's gonna happen. But it's important because the more she shows love for that community, the more the love for her is going to be eminent and evident within that community. And it's going to show up and it's going to grow and it's going to multiply and going to create opportunity for her. But she needs to now take 2 or 3 board members of that same organization and invite them into her inner circle. She needs to interview them. She needs to talk to them. She needs to engage with them, figure out if they're the right kind of people, the right kinds of fit. Is she the right kind of fit? If she can change something that she's willing to change, then change it. If they can change what they need to change, then they need to change it. But you need to engage first to figure that out. But once you create that relationship, then the opportunity is going to be magical. And there is nothing else to say about it except for that. You need to do it. And the top 10 relationships, I always tell people you have a rolling top 10 list of people that you should be in contact with on a regular, consistent basis and trying to win them into your inner circle. Now, again, once you bring new people in, you got to let somebody else go that you're spending time with, because you can't serve 2 masters. You only have so much capacity, so much energy, so much effort that you have. For me, I can have like 5 people in my inner circle at any given time. 5. That's it. That's all I can follow up with. That's all I can make promises to. That's all I can support. That's all I can even receive support from. But some people can go up to 10, 12. That's not me. But you need to figure out what your number is, because listen, again, back to your vision. What do you want to be, do, and have as a result of building this powerful network? And knowing what you need to be, do, and have is going to help you figure out the right kinds of people that are going to help you get there, that should help you get there. But again, you're going to make mistakes every once in a while. You're going to let somebody in who doesn't need to be in. You got to weed the guard, let them go, right? But always be looking for the next replacement. Always be looking for new people that could potentially be in your inner circle. Because the minute you stop growing. You stop moving forward, because you start to establish now good old boys network. Nobody wants to get in. You don't want anybody else in. They want to keep it all to themselves. Everybody starts to huddle around and try to figure out how they can protect what you already have. And they're not looking to grow anything or be anything different or better. You don't want people like that in your inner circle. You want people who are open to the new, looking for the new, driving towards the new, changing and growing. The more you do that, the better you are. The worse you do that, the more you're going to stagnate and you're going to get stuck in your own ways and you're not going to be able to grow. And that is against everything I believe in. I just really don't believe in standing still and allowing time to just eat away at your soul. It's not me. I'm not going for it. Next week, we're going to get into what it takes to truly, truly, truly be a continuous learner, a continuous grower, a continuous developer of wisdom in your life. And I think you're going to love this. So if you like today, you're going to love coming back next week. Definitely come back, log on. If you haven't already signed up on YouTube or Facebook or both, please do so. Really appreciate it if you will be a part of our subscription channel. If you could share this with anybody else, I would love it. It means a lot to me. I don't take anything for granted when it comes to people who are willing to extend themselves and extend me. If it's something I could do for you, feel free to DM me, pick up the phone, call me, whatever. I'll do what I can to help you out. I see my boy Ben is out there. Good for you, Ben. He slid in on the last minute. I was about to close the ship down, Ben. I see you out there. Ben is just a just a tremendous guy. I mean, one of my favorite people. And I love having him around. I miss hanging out with him. He used to come to Coffee to You and Me every Friday, and we go play racquetball afterwards. I don't know if we're ever going to go back to the live one because I'm having so much fun with the online opportunity, Ben. But I think that this is it's good to see you out there. Ben, if you have something that you want to share with people, if you want people to know about it, definitely put that in the chat, and I'll post it up on the screen here so people can see how to get in contact with you, or anything that you're interested in helping to promote or do. Put the links in, and I'll definitely take care of that. In any respect, is there any other questions that anybody has that they would like to bring to the table? Anybody have any thoughts or ideas that they want to share about what we talked about today? Hoping you love the session. If for some reason you couldn't get the download, I'm going to repost it one more time, and there it is. So you can see it on YouTube and on Facebook. You can just go ahead and download that. There's lots of links and lots of exercises that you could use in here. If not, we're going to close this party down. And thank you all very much for the birthday shout outs. Just give Kent State. You see, Brindley? I promise you I wear the hat just for you. This is my old beat up Kent State hat. I don't even have a new fresh hat. Maybe I should ask for one of those on my birthday. Anybody got a new fresh Kent State hat you want to get me? I'm celebrating my birthday throughout the month of June because it's at the end of May. So I always need a month. I need a month of Marvin. So so if I didn't do May, so I'm gonna catch it up. The month of Marvin is gonna be June this year. COVID-19, blame it on COVID-19, slowing everything down. Okay, guys, it was fun. I had a great time. It's now, half an hour after the hour, and so it's 4:33. I'm going to shut this party down. I got a lot of birthday greetings to come back to and share with people and create opportunities for. So I really appreciate and love every single one of you. I'm so glad you came out and shared some space and time with us. Hopefully you come back next week. Hopefully you share it with a friend or two. Don't be shy. Don't keep me a secret. And I won't do the same for you. Love you. Peace and chicken grease.